Oh, okay. My name's Steve Levy, and I was responsible for Epiphany.
My name is Daniel Drescher, and I was responsible for Little Milo.
My name is Billy Holland, and I was responsible for Gone.
Let's talk about what led you to the project exactly.
Yeah, so mine's for me, it's based on a true story. I was the kind of lead character in the true story. In 2014, I was in Brick Lane, minding my own business. I was going from one location to another. I was on my sat nav. I came to a junction in the road, and as I stood on the junction in the road looking at my phone, I felt a hand on my shoulder. And as I turned around, I was confronted with a young man with a hoodie on. I actually thought he was going to mug me. I thought, that's it, my days are over. This guy's going to mug me. But then it was a sunny day. It was really a beautiful scenery, and I thought, this can't be a mugging. This is not the right setting for a mugging. And then all of a sudden, he looked at me, and then he pulled his hoodie off and he said, "Can you help me?" And I thought, wow, the tables have turned. He wants my help. So what is it that he wants? So I was a bit nervous because I was right near the edge of the road. So I said, let's go over next to this cafe. We went over to the cafe, and he basically poured out his life story to me. So much that it moved me that I said to him, "Look, Lenny, can I pray with you?" So I held his hand, and I started praying with him. I closed my eyes, and then I felt like, should I open my eyes again? So I opened my eyes, he was crying. He was pouring out his heart. This young man was pouring out his heart, and it moved my heart so much that a young man, well actually a man, crying in the middle of the street. And I thought, wow, this has really touched me. So when I got back home, I thought to myself, you know what? I need to tell this story somehow. And then I came across another story in my family. Someone got mugged and got kidnapped basically by three youths, and they kidnapped him and they rinsed his account. And those two stories seemed like they had sort of synergy, and I just basically brought it together, and that's what we have, Epiphany.
Nice.
It was during a difficult time, I think, in 2015, 2016, all the political ranging from the Clinton-Trump election and everything that happened with Brexit. It all happened around the same time. And I've been living in Shanghai for 12 years, and we actually have a very interesting group of individuals, of directors, artists, producers, and a lot of options for doing all sorts of films. And I had an old friend, Drago, who's the director and writer. I'm the producer. And he finally came up with a script after we had chatted with a great actor who plays Charlie, our protagonist, who is also gay, white, and was having mixed feelings about the election and what it means to be gay in this day and age in the LGBT community. And we decided to write a script, and politically controversial, and we call this new genre red pill, basically, which has been discussed, but it's more from the Matrix. Blue pill is where you decide to remain in your bubble, remain in your own area, or maybe you decide to go and take the red pill and see another perspective, which I think is the bottom line, is politics destroys. So basically we created this, and it's been a roller coaster of a ride, politically controversial, and we'll see where it goes.
I was told that we had to do a final major project at college, so I sort of tied that in as well. So, but as you said, you only gave me a couple of days to get this done. But personally, I feel like I done a really good job, from a first-time director sort of thing. And I had a lot of help on the way as well. So, but it's a very hard-hitting story, I like to say. And I'd like to work on it a bit more and maybe enter it into other film festivals as well.
Can you tell us a little bit about the look of the film? Because the look is really, it's really edgy. I love the tones that you've used. What made you choose that particular kind of palette to?
Yeah, that's quite interesting, because when I was working with my grader, one of the things we had to do is I had to come up with a palette. But what I did was I came up with a visual storyboard, and I had Luther in there. So, and I'm from East London originally, from Hackney. So, I wanted to go back to my old area because it was kind of rustic. But I've watched a lot of Luther, and the colour palette actually comes from Luther. So I spotted all the colours out of series 2 of Luther, and I thought, you know what, I really want to represent London. I really want to represent the grit of London. London is a beautiful place for cinematography, and I just really wanted to try and bring that together as well. And my idea was to make a small movie. That was what it was. So it was all about trying to get the quality and the look and feel and making people feel. I actually went to Canada, and there was a young man there who lived in London. He goes, I know that place, and he said, I feel it, and I thought, wow, then I've achieved something there. So
Yep.
yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, really, really interesting, as I say. And the other thing I should, of course, mention is the score. The score is phenomenal, and I think, you know, like this is like a major movie score. Tell us a bit about the music.
Yeah, the music's good. I mean, I came across so many great people on this project, and one of the guys called Hugh White. He wasn't my first choice to do the score. I met somebody else who actually works on the Doctor Who series, but he was busy, probably working on Doctor Who, to be honest. So he recommended Hugh. So when I met Hugh, Hugh said to me, "Who's your favourite, composer?" I said Hans Zimmer, and he goes, "He's mine as well." So we really looked at, that was our starting point. Let's make it cinematic. But he worked so hard, I have to be honest. I mean, he gave me the first draft I thought was good, but he says, "No, Steve, I need to refine it." And he refined it 6 times, and he didn't even change the cost. Hats off to him. He's a hard worker, and he really, really kind of, at those moments in the film, he really introduced it, and he really worked hard. So I'm so pleased with it. It's all about a combination. I think Tony Scott said it. It's like a painting. You're adding layers, and music is one of those layers that you need to add to really engage the audience.
I don't know how much you know about the colour palette for Little Milo, but the thing I found quite fascinating was the boldness of the colours. So we've gone from a kind of drained out colour, we've gone these big red audacious colours, and the wallpaper and things like that.
Well, one thing is that we filmed this in China.
Yes.
To look like California. So that was, step one. Let's make it look like the U.S., California. So a lot of indoor shots, as you saw. The color palette, we really wanted to emphasize just kind of like the red pill genre manifested within the film stock, manifested with these bright layers and colors, and also just, the overall feel of something that's, because also it's mainly placed a lot in the protagonist being in a gay bar, being in a very lively scene, and also performing drag and kind of the old Chinese opera that goes with it. So we wanted something very intense, lively, and frankly our cinematographer is Czech, and also our director happens to be Serbian American, but he likes this type of style. He's also a huge Pulp Fiction fan. He likes to have spaghetti western style influence. So this is his style of filmmaking. Besides that,
the other thing, did you have any issues in terms of shooting and the subject matter working in China?
So the bizarre thing is that China only cares if you're going to talk about China, but if you're going to talk about any other subject that is in the West, they really don't care. So frankly, to raise money for this type of film, where I think Hollywood has been very, prickly about this, we have much better chance of raising the money in China, and even through, the Eurasian Film Festival Council. Mm-hmm. You should all meet them; they're all great.
They will tonight.
Tonight. But it was actually in China. We have slightly more freedom to talk about the West than we do in our own home countries, where everyone is just split. And if you mention politics, that's
interesting.
It's, I mean, just stay away. It's just, and it will ruin you in Hollywood, many places in the UK, to talk even anything about anything else. So no, China was actually a very lucky aspect.
Okay. Bill,
Right.
what are the challenges in making a film in such a short period of time and editing it?
Getting people to turn up, like casting was a big thing, but like obviously my friends, they came through, they turned up, which was great. But trying to get, especially for a student, trying to get adults in your film is kind of hard, because it's like they sort of don't trust you in a way. So I don't know about that. But editing, like it was more of, oh, that looks cool, let's do that. So it wasn't like as much of an interesting story as these guys, but you know, like hopefully next time I can put a bit more research into my film. Like I'm planning to make a feature soon, so hopefully that goes well. But yeah.
I think you've done well.
Yeah.
To be honest, I was talking
Thank
to
you.
him outside, and I think you've done absolutely well.
Thank you very
You know,
much.
for your second film.
Yeah, sort of second. Yeah.
No, you've done really well.
Thank you very much.
Stephen, in terms of your cast, how did you gather your cast about?
Yes, I didn't do it traditionally. I've got this way of sitting with people, getting them to read the script, and having a feeling about the individuals. So, Alice Henley, who you noted, was my first. So I do a lot of voiceover work. So I got her to read the script, and just watching her read the script and how she reacted, I knew that she was definitely the right person for it. And it went on from there as well. So then she introduced. So it was non-traditional. I just knew the characters in my head, and I met them at film festivals. I was recommended, and I sat down with them. I worked with them, so I knew they were the right characters. You know, I gave them a lot of rehearsal time. I gave them one-to-one, you know, kind of recording time, backstories. I knew that I could work with them. I'm an actor myself, so I was just talking to somebody outside that actually being an actor kind of helps you as well to help work with the actors. So I knew they were the right, and I was absolutely right. So my nervousness was the first day of reading. I wondered if they'd all get along, and they got along on the house on fire. My only trouble was stopping them having so much fun. That was my only worry I had, and that's not a big worry. So yeah.
Have we got any questions out here from our lovely audience? Anyone?
Yes, about little Milo. Did you have any problems with getting the Trump footage?
We didn't have trouble actually. We had a really good editor, and he was able to find all the footage properly. But I think we found some decent footage of some of the things he was saying, and also the same likewise with Milo. Though the rights to that, still not certain how much we have of that. But yes, that's a good question. We should ask ourselves that again. Yes.
Stephen.
Yeah, so it's for me, it's been such a blessing. I've got 4 projects on the go. I like true stories, so I interviewed a lady who saved somebody's life last year. I did a campaign for CPR for where I work, and her story was so compelling. I asked her, "Can I turn your story into a short film?" And she said yes. I pitched it last week, and I got the money for it. And then I'm turning Epiphany into a feature film. That's the main ambition. It was just now proof of concept. So that would be really good. And then I've got 2 other films that I'm working on as well. I've written, and I'm working with a couple of new writers as well. So it's opened up a really massive door for me, to be honest. I'm really grateful as well.
Excellent.
For Little Milo, we're looking for, as this is the proof of concept, we're looking for funding for the feature film. We've already written the script, and we have the short film as the proof of concept. And we're also working on a new feature film where the script has already been written, called Global Village, which will be sort of critiquing the entire drama, theater, Hollywood scene in the form of a cast coming together, which goes under a producer and a director who have kind of been down in the dumps after doing some more politically incorrect theater things here and there, kind of based more on some of us and friends of mine. And then they basically get, thrown in by their investors and told them that, honestly, you're not making any more money. And you're gonna have to go totally PC, and we think you should do the Rocky Horror Picture Show. So we're basically going to have it all about casting the Rocky Horror Picture Show. The producer's gonna be Weinsteinish a little bit, it's gonna have a little bit of grit and, very now. We're trying to keep everything very now until someone else does a full-on Weinstein film, because we don't know how that's ending, but yeah, we're gonna keep it going, and yeah, red pill.
I want to go back and reshoot some of that stuff, make it crispy clean, and also there's we're planning to make a feature. My two guys over there, we're planning to make another film. Hopefully that goes well. It's a superhero film. It's nothing like X-Men. Please don't get confused. But no, yeah. So hopefully that goes well, and we can put that, and you might be able to see that in the film festival next year as well.